To the story of a pair of canoeists who wrecked their boat in Algonquin Park and had to be rescued via helicopter.
That's right. It was a harrowing 24 hours for those involved, described as cinematic, and remarkably, no one was hurt.
CTV's Dylan Dyson has the unbelievable story.
What started as another yearly canoe trip to Algonquin Park quickly turned into a worst-case scenario for campers.
We ran to the point, and I felt like Fortunate Son was about to start playing because everything was just so intense.
18-year-old Curtis Bird is thankful looking back on what is the craziest weekend of his life to date. Bird and his 5 friends set out on a whitewater canoe trip on August 7th. On August 8th, they encountered their first set of problematic rapids, the Rollway Rapids. Trip organizer Aidan Atwell recalls what he saw from the bottom of the rapids.
This was kind of what set the entire day in motion, because when they tipped, they really badly damaged their canoe.
You're going to be rescuing your buddies when they come in. Man down!
Damaged but still in working condition, Bird and his boatmate continued on their trip to the next set of rapids, the Schooner Rapids.
But we hit a rock the wrong way, and we just watched the whole canoe bend around it. So it was a big enough force where Josh ended up flipping over the side and riding down those rapids, and I flipped back the other way and just watched all of the stuff we had in that canoe, our food barrel, all our bags, just go down.
Bird and his partner washed up on shore of an island. With no canoe and no equipment, they decided to start walking.
We crashed around, I think, 3:30, and we walked till about 7:38.
Bird made his way to a rock peninsula on the island where they sat for 4 hours whistling and calling for help. Back on the mainland, Atwell was doubling back, covering kilometers of coastline, searching for his friends.
And we're scanning the banks because we don't see anything.
At around 7:30, we had 3 guys showing up at our campsite. I gave them one of our flashlights, gave them a liter of water. They embarked on this portage route to see if they could find Curtis and Josh at the top of it or somewhere along it.
And we're shouting out their names, and all of a sudden, just out of the corner of my eye, about maybe halfway down the lake, we see Curtis waving his hands on the other bank.
Around 10 o'clock, we hear our friends just yelling in the distance to us.
Hey, we're going to go get search and rescue or somebody to help you. Give us a couple hours.
Upon returning to Healy's campsite, Atwell explained he and another in his group were going to paddle the final 15 kilometers of their trip in the dark to get to their car, drive to cell service, and call for help. But with time quickly passing...
So they're just stuck out there at the end of this?
Yeah.
So we can go and pick them up?
He said, we'll go get them. We're close. We're the closest people to them. We're equipped to do this. We'll do it.
Bird grateful they did.
We saw headlights. We thought it might be search and rescue. Turned out to be their group. They came over on their canoe and picked us up.
The rescue mission returned to camp around 1 a.m. Meanwhile, Atwell had made it back to the vehicle and managed to call search and rescue.
All we could see were these blinding lights from the air, and then at some point, a guy descends down, and it was like watching the movies. Yeah.
They put this little thing around me, it just says, keep your arms down. Of course, these guys are experts, the whole search and rescue team, and so they take us up and everything's okay.
Bird and his boatmate Josh were flown back to the search and rescue base in Trenton, where they reunited with Atwell.
Well, my first instinct at the end of it was to go buy a lottery ticket, because that was just sheer luck that we managed to make it back and then everybody was unhurt.
Dylan Dyson, CTV News, Round Lake.
Well, they can laugh about it now, but...
I know. What an incredible story. My goodness. Glad everyone's okay.
Definitely.
And I hope he bought that lottery ticket.
Yeah, we got to check in with him a little later. A little later on in the show, Canadian farmers in a pickle, how a lack of foreign workers is hurting that industry.
And if